truly understand the evolution of European culture, we must first look at the sources that preserve its history. Documents, printed books, sculptures, architecture, and textiles all serve as windows into the past. These treasures are carefully stored in archives, art galleries, and museums across Europe and America, thanks to the dedication of historians and scholars. One such scholar, Jacob Burckhardt, played a pivotal role in shaping our understanding of the Renaissance. He believed that history should focus not just on politics but also on culture. Through his influential book, The Renaissance Civilization in Italy, Burckhardt highlighted how literature, architecture, and painting reflected a blossoming humanist culture in Italian towns between the 14th and 17th centuries. This scene sets the stage for our journey through the changing traditions that redefined Europe. As Italian cities revived after the fall of the Roman Empire, a new spirit began to emerge. Trade flourished, and towns like Venice and Florence gained independence, no longer seeing themselves as subjects of a distant empire. This economic boom led to the rise of wealthy merchants and bankers who influenced city governance. At the same time, universities in places like Padua and Bologna became centers of learning, especially in law. A shift occurred. Thinkers like Francesco Petrarch started to look back at ancient Greek and Roman texts, believing there was wisdom beyond religious teachings. This gave birth to humanism, a movement that emphasized grammar, rhetoric, poetry, history, and moral philosophy. Humanists believed they were restoring civilization after a dark age, and their ideas spread quickly, inspiring artists, writers, and scholars across Europe. Renaissance was not just about ideas, it was also about transforming art and science. Artists like Donatello and Michelangelo drew inspiration from ancient sculptures, striving for lifelike realism. They studied anatomy, geometry, and the effects of light, often collaborating with scientists to achieve new levels of detail. Meanwhile, the influence of Chinese and Persian art brought by the Mongols added vibrant colors and designs to Italian painting. Architecture, the revival of Roman styles led to grand domes and ornate buildings, with figures like Brunelleschi and Michelangelo leaving their mark on cities like Florence and Rome. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg revolutionized the spread of ideas, making books widely available and fueling the rapid growth of humanist culture across Europe. This scene highlights how art, science, and technology work together to shape a new era. While the Renaissance celebrated individuality and citizenship, these ideals often excluded women. In aristocratic families, men dominated public life and decision-making, while women were largely confined to household roles. The dowry system reinforced this divide, and daughters without sufficient dowries were often sent to convents. However, in merchant families, women sometimes managed businesses, especially when their husbands were away or had passed. Remarkable women like Cassandra Fettel and Isabella d'Este challenged these norms, advocating for education and greater public roles for women. Their writings and actions highlighted the limitations of freedom in their societies and called for economic power and education as keys to true identity. This scene explores how social structures were both challenged and reinforced during this period of cultural transformation. Renaissance also sparked intense debates within Christianity. Humanists like Thomas More and Erasmus criticized the Church for corruption and the sale of indulgences. The Protestant Reformation, led by Martin Luther, challenged the authority of the Pope and emphasized personal faith. This movement spread rapidly, supported by merchants and the new print culture. Meanwhile, scientific thinkers like Copernicus, Kepler, and Galileo revolutionized our understanding of the universe, shifting the focus from religious dogma to observation and experimentation. The idea that the Earth revolved around the Sun was radical, but it paved the way for modern science. Scientific societies like the Royal Society in London and the Paris Academy promoted public experiments and lectures, making science accessible to all. This scene captures the dynamic interplay between faith, reason, and discovery that defined the era. Changes that swept through Europe during the Renaissance laid the foundation for the modern world. The separation of private and public life, the spread of literacy, and the flourishing of art and science all contributed to a new sense of individuality and progress. While not everyone benefited equally, women in the lower classes often remained marginalized. The era's emphasis on human potential and critical thinking continues to inspire us today. The Renaissance reminds us that cultural transformation is a complex process, shaped by economic, social, and intellectual forces. As we reflect on this period, we see how the pursuit of knowledge, creativity, and freedom can drive societies forward, leaving a lasting impact on generations to come.